A warm good afternoon from Melbourne on a terrific day for sitting at home and watching football. Not such a great day for playing it. A howling wind out of the north. About 3 o'clock we're expecting a change, and a howling wind out of the south with some rain. So difficult conditions for the players today in this round 16 clash between Springvale and Coburg. The only teams with any chance of the teams outside the five hoping to get in there to figure in the finals. The team that does lose today, though, seeing as both clubs are 3 games adrift, can really pack up their boots because they won't be playing in September. In the reserves, Coburg will be, because they're the top dog in the reserves competition, and in a fiery game, a number of reports there, they came out on top against Springvale today by 42 points. The VFA ladder in the seniors, Werribee a game clear on top from Box Hill, both teams in good form at the moment, Dandenong, Sandringham and Port Melbourne. The teams who won't want to slip up in this run home, but they're looking pretty good at this stage with just 5 games to go. Outside the 5, 3 games out are Springvale and Coburg, who must win all their games here on in. Williamstown, last year's premiers, won't be defending their title this year, and Oakley got off to that win a few weeks back, their only one of the season, against Coburg, who we'll be seeing in action today. Let's have a look at the Springvale lineup for today's game. Scott Peacock is out with an infected foot. Martin Mendy takes his place in the 16 in the back pocket. Dempster goes to the forward pocket. Caples to centre half back. David Meikle will do the ruck work with Prosser and Foy on the bench. Assistant coach of the Springvale side is Doug Coop, and he's out with a knee strain at the moment. He knows just how important it is his team keeps winning, and they'll need a bit of assistance too from the teams above them on the ladder.
Yeah, we've got to win our games, but then again we've got to wait for a couple of top sides to be knocked off, so hopefully that'll happen.
But you're playing well. If you'd played this well, you'd be safely entrenched in the 4 early in the season.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we've just left our run a little bit late, but if we do continue this way, yeah, hopefully we'll get there and give it a good shake. And
battles against Coburg have always been pretty good ones over the years.
Yeah, they're a tough side. They're a side that never stop, and you know, you can never ever say that you got Coburg beaten, because they'll always keep going right till the final siren, which I think the last time we played them was only 3 points. So they're all very close games against Coburg, a very tough opponent.
And here's how the Lions will line up. Their back line unchanged, but in an attempt to get that forward line working, Langan comes in on the flank beside Dave Sullivan, former league player and Camberwell player. He's in for his first game at centre half forward. Doyle will start on the ball in a swap with Gumley. Paul Sullivan is on the bench with Callender. Captain of the Coburg side, Brad Nimmo, plays his 150th game today, which is quite an achievement in a club where only 2 men have played 200 games in its history.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's something I'll look back on in years to come, and I'll be very proud of.
You've been lucky, I guess, playing in 3 premierships since '79.
Yeah, I've been involved in the club in a successful era, which has probably helped me to go on and play so many games. It sort of keeps the enthusiasm up as you get older, and all's gone well.
I know Phil Cleary had to work on you pretty hard to get you back this year. We've been saying it every week, another do-or-die one, if it's going to be a worthwhile year for you.
Yeah, well, we've just got to win today and take each game as it comes, and hopefully we've got to rely on the other side's losing now, which is not a good position to be in, but that's the position we've put ourselves in, so not much we can do about that.
No, really, today it's all there for the players to produce out there on the ground. With me is Sam Kekovich, and Sam, I think you'd rather play in pouring rain than this howling wind, wouldn't you, as a player?
The worst possible conditions a footballer could possibly expect, the windy conditions. It's the bane of all footballers, and it's not only a wind, I think it's understated when we say a breeze. It is a howling gale out there. But today's game, it'll be an interesting one. I mean, to say bears, as far as I'm concerned, very little relevance in terms of the composition of the final 5, but the professionalism and the pride of both these clubs will ensure that we're in for a fierce contest. And I just reflected back last night, Peter, thinking about the competition, the demise of these 2 powerful clubs over the preceding 4 or 5 years. I thought to myself, is it the fact that they've lost key personnel during the course of the season that's precluded them being at full strength and perhaps missing by 2 or 3 games? Or more importantly, as I see it, is that the professionalism of each individual club above them and the influx of talent, which is the obvious reason for the increase in the status of the competition. But I just believe the competition as such has become so professional from a club personal point of view, and the players that are playing now for 4 or 5 years have adopted a far better attitude. So I think the competition as such has improved immensely.
Perhaps these two teams haven't dropped too much. Let's see today. Ross Booth, we've started a bit early today because of the rugby, which is coming on after half-time. Roscoe, good to see you in position.
Thanks, Pete. Yes, well, no need to say it's been really low this morning. A strong wind to the left of screen. Springvale are kicking into that, so maybe Coburg can start the quarter off by kicking a bag of goals. Let's wait and see.
Well, one thing is for sure, goals can be kicked at both ends of the ground. We saw that in the reserves. So the team kicking with it, can they use it properly? The other team won't be held scoreless, that's for sure. Good long driving kick and out taking a good mark for Coburg. Directly in front, Mark Williams. Got the breeze behind him. And this would be a perfect start. Jeff Caulfield, Stephen Luckman, the men in Lemon in charge of today's game. That is a good start for the Lions. Came up nicely to Alessio. Has he got the free?
Well, the Jeff Fairing, Ross, you're right.
Kakur. Don't tell me. Yes, Billy Kakur. What a goal from that pocket.
Well, we've seen him do it on a number of times, and the viewers, along with me, could be excused at times for thinking there may be a bit of divine intervention with some of his passages of play. Billy Kakua, capable of the magical, along with another one that almost rivals him, along with Neil Jordan, the Preston captain coach. But this is a fine angle goal.
There was the free kick.
The free kick, and look at this Kakua on the acutest of angles in these tricky conditions, allowed for the breeze perfectly.
Going end over end, cleaned up by Martin Mendy, and off goes Peter Maloney. He's had no one within about 20 metres of him so far in the match. Ryan's handball. Salvador could have been pinged for holding it. Ryan gets another chance. Kick goes 6 metres. Loon for distance. Williams. Oh, almost. Morgan's caught. Comes clear to Kakur. Surely number 2 this time. 3 goals, all kicked in the match in the first 9.5 minutes by Coburg. 2 of them to Bill Kakur. 13.5 minutes gone. 3-goal lead for Coburg. Ryan fires in from the side. Roving for Malin. Doyle's handball. Malin going toe-to-toe with Barnes. Meanwhile, Coburg, another score. A goal. Yes.
Off the knee.
Kakur's 3rd. And great start from the Burgers.
The top, Steve Salvador. And one of a number of ex-Brunswick players in the Lions colours. Morgan, hair back. Barnes dispossessed. Morgan again. Oh, giving it away. Langan, legged. Still got the hand pass out. Quickly onto Gumley. And he's quick with the kick. Strong mark to Sullivan.
Yes, he's a very strong player, Dave Sullivan. Unfortunately, he's had injuries this season, which is, I think this may be his first or second game, his first game for the club, in fact. We recruited him at Camwell from Essendon. He was a wonderful performer over a period of time.
Not a bad kick too. You must have taught me a thing or two, Sam.
No, actually arrived. I must confess he arrived with quite a proficient boot, Ross. But he's got a wonderful competitive spirit, Dave Sullivan. He's been in receipt of 2 or 3 now, but so he should. He does put his body in.
Free
There's always a chance.
Evening up 8-7. Favour of the Lions. Zanin. Quick hands. Gumley. In comes McDonough. Korkomilis. Kakur through the middle. The little legs get going. Cameron Stewart chasing on the left foot. Oh, goal is open. Can Mendy get to it? Someone else in front is Alessio, and he's got his foot to it, and he's kicked the goal.
I'll tell you what, and he did it very cleverly too, I must confess, Ross. If you see it on screen, we'll see it on replay very shortly. Obviously, Billy Kakua did the lead-up work with his brilliant pace, again breaking up the opposition in midfield. Here we see 1-2 bounce on the left foot too. Quite a good left footer this from Billy, not renowned for his strength in his opposite foot. But you watch here how well Alessio does. Taps it back in on the line virtually to give himself the opportunity of dribbling it through.
In front of Langan. Nice break, good half volley bounce for him. Gets away from Morgan. No, he doesn't. Inside to Ryan. Quick hands. Korkomilis. Will he shoot at goal? No, feeds it out. Fiddling about a bit. Sullivan a chance, but it's paid off in the end because Dave Sullivan has gold.
Worry.
Shortest handball of all time to Potter. Too close for him to see it coming. Into the middle. Clear. Wide looking for Williams. He's in front. Time to steady and dribble it through. Number 8 for the Lions. And, well, what a start, even though they've got the strong breeze.
Still, it's a lot of goals, Ross, isn't it? 8 goals. And
yes.
Williams on screen.
Doyle goes down the middle. Meikle should repel this. All to no avail, though. Fabulous quarter from the Lions, allowing Springvale just 1 behind while they kicked 8 goals for themselves. 3 of those goals to Kakur, 2 to Mark Williams, 2 to Dave Sullivan. The single goal kicker was Anthony Alessio. Springvale without a goal kicker at quarter time here at Port Melbourne. These two teams, proud teams in the late 80s, early 90s, they have to win if they're to have any chance of playing off in the finals this year, and Coburg have begun the better. They're leading by 51 points. Players to get it out to Salvador. Big possession winner in the first quarter, but it's Stewart for Springvale. Robinson waiting for it under with Zanin, and a good, strong and well-judged mark from Keith Robinson.
A wonderful aerialist, this guy. He's had a lean year by his normal high standards, but he's always enjoy watching Keith Robinson.
Breeze doesn't put him off. He's threaded the eye of the needle. Not an easy assignment, that one, but a good start to the term from Springvale. Did exactly what Coburg did in the first quarter, a quick goal within a minute. Potter getting across to Gumley. Ball falling short into the breeze. Caples against Sullivan. Ball taken away by Foy. Kakur puts a bit of late pressure on. Good mark taken here by Meikle. Should kick a goal here directly in front. Will kick from about 50.
Play out on this side.
Certainly both big men are extremely promising. It's just 8 VFA games, and that was a fine overhead in these tricky conditions.
6th mark to Meikle.
Don't quite have the legs. Dempster should have marked, but it's a goal for Robinson anyway. 2nd for Keith Robinson.
Yes,
That looks a little bit better. 39 points the difference in favour of Coburg.
Yeah, a little bit of inept defence here. I'm sure Mark Zanin would like this all over again. We see Robinson left unguarded in the goal square, which is just unbelievable. Meikle's kick just lacking a bit of yardage. There's the aerial contest. The ball comes to ground. Well, not to ground, to the unguarded Robinson, who pops it through easy as you like.
And Korkomilis has been really the centre of it quite often. There's Morgan caught again. Knock on from Caples. Stewart leaves it behind. Loon getting it to Spiro Korkomilis. He might like to rub some salt in the wound here. No, he gives it to Sullivan for his 3rd instead.
Hit the post.
He hit the post. Oh, that's almost a Malcolm Blight from that distance, Sam.
I think that might be worse than Blighty's. Maybe disappointed with that, because the lead-up play was terrific. Numbers to the ball, and Korkomilis drawing the Smith, who was in no man's land, and Dave, unfortunately, Dave Sullivan hit the post with what should have been a very, very easy goal.
He brings it back into the corridor, misses the target, which was Nickel. He gathers. They've gone from one side to the other. Cameron Stewart, who has played a lot at half forward. Has he got his goal-kicking boots on? Long with the breeze, and he's got it. And he's pleased with himself too, Cameron Stewart. The 3rd goal of the quarter to the Vales.
Dempster has a look before he kicks, and the man he's looking at was Paul Dudley. And I'll put my money on this one as a goal.
Yeah, reliable goal kicker Dudley. Good vision in picking him out. Made position nicely.
Keep your eye on the footy.
And thank you, Paul. I've kept my money. More importantly for Springvale, they're now less than 30 points away from Coburg.
Feels he's a chance to goal. Into the square, it'll land or push. Blatant by Dave Meikle.
Yes, it was quite visible, that one. And the umpire was in the right spot. You certainly have got no chance behind Ryan, especially when you don't have a run in at him as well. Meikle caught flat-footed.
Start behind the boundary line, mate.
28 points of difference. 28 minutes gone. Second quarter. Coburg, who led by 51 points at quarter time, haven't managed a goal in this quarter. 3 behinds against the win. 4 goals, 2 kicked by Springvale. And a fairly short quarter because no goals kicked at one end, just 4 at the other.
A long stretch.
OK, Coburg having the best of the first half. We'll be delaying our telecast of the second half. Join us at 5 o'clock for that, with a 28-point lead at half-time for Coburg. But stay with ABC TV now as we take you up to the Sydney Sports Ground for the Test match. Rugby Union action. It's the Australian Wallabies against England, and Australia have never been beaten by England on home soil. Let's go up to Sydney. With any chance of figuring in the finals, Springvale and Coburg, albeit a remote chance. Both teams 3 games outside the finals, though with Dandenong and Sandringham playing one another tomorrow, unless it's a draw, the winner of this game will be only 2 games outside the 5, and with 4 games to go after that, still a chance if they win them all of playing in the final. So playing for a finals berth, Springvale and Coburg kicking with a very strong northerly breeze in the first quarter, rattled on 8 goals to nothing, led by 51 points at quarter time. In the second quarter, signs that Springvale were getting back into the match. 28 points was the difference at half-time, but not playing well enough, it would seem, to get back into the game, though the breeze might have the final say. There was no signs of it abating, and Springvale would come home with it in the last term. They've finished very strongly of latter weeks, having won the last 2. Coburg have had a disappointing season. Perhaps they still could figure in the finals if they won this one. They went into the second half leading by 28. We pick up the third quarter 4.5 minutes in. Springvale have kicked a behind, so the lead for Coburg, 27 points.
The blustery conditions are certainly not to his liking. Maloney, who's been quiet since the early part of the match.
Picked up 18 possessions in that first half. Set sail to the Norm Goss stand side of the ground. There's the fullback Paul Smith. Draws the man. Stewart, 25-metre handball into the breeze. Very difficult to get any direction with that very strong northerly into his face.
As Footclear would have preferred Langer to punch from that position. Mendy goes to the defensive side, grandstand side. Paul Dudley to half forward. Nimmo let it get past. Dempster inboard to Prosser. Shot on goal. Perhaps the first goal coming at the northern end. And it is. Robbie Prosser gets an important goal for the Vales into the breeze.
Always put Smith under pressure here. Chasing from Williams, and that's nearly deliberate. He's been played a free kick. The ball went out of bounds just after the kick, and he's gone down very heavily there, Smith. It could be that shoulder which he injured in the second quarter, and maybe Williams finished the job off there as he ground him into the dirt.
No, I won't.
Gee, there's some poor options utilised on that occasion by Caples.
Umpire Caulfield let it go. Here's the incident again. It's a deliberate kick out on the bounds, I reckon. But anyway, the free kick was paid for in the back. And what's the prognosis on Smith? He's not looking too good as Meikle's got the ball. And he's put it out in the crowd. Marking Jewell out there on as even.
Centre field. Pick up by Barnes. He was going too quick. Good recovery to Loon. High ball. Williams a push. They both go down. Alessio. Oh, nice little snap from Anthony Alessio. Kicks his second. And Coburg's first of the quarter. He's been a valuable forward.
Springvale's McDonough. Dudley's hot. Gets his kick clear. Harrington, been a resolute defender. It's Morgan, fends off a tackle. Beautiful kick. Kanarakis can run into the open goal here. He's going to be unselfish. Give it to Prosser for his second. And maybe Springvale can follow this one up. They're now within 19 points, the closest they've been since the first quarter.
Callender gets it clear.
Now they'll try and come across on the attacking side.
Salvador with the kick to Loon in the middle. Stewart will have to come. Chip kick to Potter. Feeds it out, 17th hand pass to Potter. Goal coming up to Paul Sullivan. That was good play by the Lions.
Yes, they did it strategically correctly. Other perfect, Ross. They defended correctly out on the outer side. Performance at time really does mar their performance. Springvale, we've seen it previously.
Callender's delivered to centre wing. Comes back in his direction. Calls Loon onto it. Good mark. Hopefully Loon doesn't do a lot wrong.
No, he's quite an accomplished player, Loon. And Carlton under 19.
Oh,
great
grab
mark.
Foy. That's a steal off Salvador. 28 points is the lead for Coburg. Foy has been all determination since he came on from interchange. Plucks that one and passes it well. Michael Maloney, he's got better as the game's gone on.
Yes.
Too far out to score. Wants a Robinson mark. 7 kicks in this quarter for Michael Maloney. Lead from Stewart.
He can make distance, as we saw in that second quarter.
Well, he
Peter?
kicked that one on the run with the win. Very important set shot for Cameron Stewart.
Oh, look at that hold up in the breeze.
Yeah, I don't think the wind has changed. It's three-quarter time, and the difference is as it was at half-time. 28 points in favour of Coburg. They'll come home against the breeze. Goal kickers for Coburg up to this point. Kakur 3-all in the first term, 2 to Alessio and Williams. Singles Sullivan. That's Paul Sullivan. Dave Sullivan's got 2, while for Springvale, 2 to Robinson and Prosser. Singles Dudley and Stewart. Three-quarter time at Port Melbourne, and Coburg leads Springvale in round 16 VFA match of the day by 28 points. Off in that third quarter. You heard the play on call from the umpire. Peter Maloney to Robinson. Well, they were over him. It's a free kick against Zanin. Difficult one for Mark Zanin because the ball dropped and he had to try and spoil his opponent, and in doing so leaned right over the top of Keith Robinson. And what a start to the quarter this will be for the Vales.
He was set on screen. Yes,
We just missed it, really.
But we saw the goal. 3 goals for Keith Robinson. It's 22 points the difference now. And, well, we got this hiatus. Chance to mention another veteran who is being honoured this year, and that's the Springvale backman Graham Dempster. Ruckman, you name it. Utility man, former South Melbourne player. His testimonial night is Friday the 16th of August. Starts at 7:30 at the Springvale Sports Club there at the Newcomen Ground. Just $15 a head. So thank you to Graham, all you Vales fans out there on the 16th. Could be a big thank you here as they come home with their tails up. Maloney to Robinson, number 4.
Oh, no.
Another one way over Williamstown Road. And it's looking very ominous for Coburg now. This is the closest they've been since the first quarter, Springvale.
Well, I did very well in midfield through Maloney, who's been a fine player. I thought Corker-Miller's got on top early, but Robinson, he did superbly well in holding his ground against Zanin from behind. Obviously, the ball had plenty of purchase on it, and he just kept Zanin at bay and then had that last leap. He just plucked the ball from in front of him. The moment they're all being covered, they've all dropped since quarter time.
Coburg kicked 8 goals to 0 in the first quarter. They've had just 2. Since then, Nemo's in a spotted by the Peter Maloney. Prosser has kicked 2. Finds space, gets a hand pass to McDonough, who shoots and gets it. Yes! That makes it close. 9 points now, the Springvale side trail by. We've had nearly 6 minutes of the final term.
He's got a... Will you count that as a kick? He probably will. Kakur forced backwards by Michael Maloney. Peter Maloney takes over. High for Keith Robinson. Half a metre break on Harrington. That's enough.
Back 2 metres. Back 2 metres. One more.
Slight grip on that ball, hasn't even overhead.
This could be a match-winning performance in the last quarter from Keith Robinson. He's already kicked 2 in the term. 7 marks for the match. Just to put them within 2 points.
Oh.
Ooh, over the top of the post.
Yes, straight through. Snuck in.
Oh, straight through. I don't know about that. That's a goal.
Well, you can see just 10 metres prior to the post that it was just going to angle in.
Good work from the Maloney's here.
Yes, and I'll tell you the Maloney that did very well is the one that pushed Kacker off the ball.
Yeah, this is not straight through.
Well, Ross, you know what I was saying. Look, you can see in flight. Oh, easily.
Yeah, okay. A goal.
That's a forward talking.
Been a wonderful performance by Robinson, Peter. You said in these tricky conditions which don't favour forwards. Well, should have been receipt of the kick there.
Yeah, Barnes just blocked his path. Doyle's kick. Oh, good distance there. Paul Sullivan against McDonough. Paul Sullivan can make it 8 points the difference if he can find the handle. He's hit the post. Too long to gather it in, and the pressure from Mendy, of course, caused him to miss. That's 2 goals they've missed from that sort of distance. It was in the first term, David Sullivan, that time Paul Sullivan, both hit the post.
Great desperation by Martin Mendy to force the error.
Dudley, Damien Ryan on the left. Rucking with Nickel. They all missed it. Mark Williams to Callender. In turn to Steve Salvador. Possession 29. Thumps it on the left foot. Dribbling kick. Sullivan has marked. Live from the old line yet.
Fingertip. And this is a vital kick.
Kick one, certainly taking it very seriously, Paul Sullivan. He's a left footer. Kicks truly for his second. And a little bit of breathing space, but not much for Coburg. He's out of the 5. And obviously needing to win it to have any hope whatsoever. And we're both hoping that Port keep having the wobbles. There's Philip Cleary calling a move. What's he calling? The runner's calling up Paul Sullivan away from full forward. Let's see where he goes. Corker-Millis grabs it. Dave Sullivan running with a fly to the ball. 2-on-1. Mendy nudges aside Dave Sullivan. Over the top to Foyd. 24 minutes gone. Time running out for the Vales. High to the centre wing. They always said, here's a chance. Nickel. It's all Springvale. Inboard is Jeffs. He ignores him. Long towards Robinson. Gets his hands to it. Oh, it's pouncing on it. Kanarakis. He's a left footer. Shoots for goal and puts it through. And the margin now is 5 points at the 24 and 15 second mark.
Well, it was always on, Ross, provided they could gain possession and drive the ball long and break it up in midfield. They've struggled the last 10 minutes to get it over midfield, but they drove it long to Robinson, who's the target. Obviously, the pressure that, you know, he puts the defence under forced 2 or 3 defenders to go up with him, and the loose ball spilled, and Kanarakis was in the right spot. And, you know, he helped atone for a poor first half.
Well, that's the first positive thing he's really done for the whole match.
Exactly. Yes, it's got to find a Coburg target or long. Valuable seconds ticking it by.
The torpedo, not a bad one into the breeze. Good knock on. Maloney leading in the race. That's boundary line. A godsend for Coburg. They might just hang on here. 27 minutes played. Happy to see it go over.
Yes, they'll play the percentages from here on in, or they should. Springvale, of course, have got to endeavour to be attacking at the back of the pack.
They've got to win possession here, the Vales. And Coburg determined they won't. That was Loon that put the tackle on McDonough.
Yes, we need some cool heads prevailing in this situation.
The quarter went for 28 minutes, so the siren must be close. And Paul Sullivan thumps it over the boundary line.
Good play. This is where it's important to have leadership and plenty of talking, plenty of instructions issued from both sides as they look for that vital break. Of course, Coburg are quite content with proceedings at the moment. Keep forcing the boundary throw in.
Ball has to be retrieved. Langan directing traffic. Nickel, number 34, has to find a teammate with a tap. He's swamped by Burgers. They've bottled it up, I think.
Yes, well, I would suggest about 20 players around the ball at the moment. Just needs a clear tap inboard. No, it's another on the boundary line. They're certainly thwarting all attempts by Springvale.
It's been a 5-goal-to-1 last term in favour of Springvale, but at the 29-minute mark it would appear to no avail. Dudley, there's still life in them. Stewart. And there's Sullivan. He's been thrown back as an extra man in defence, Paul Sullivan. And he's kicked their 1 goal in this term, Coburg. He now goes back. Zanin goes back with Michael.
Well, there's virtually no one in the entire Coburg forward line. One half of the ground is completely barren.
Nickel with strength. Oh, there's Calendar. Timely arrival. Agonising seconds for Phil Cleary and the Coburg team. They have some hope of making the finals. They just want the siren to end Springvale's season here. And they've got to win the next 4, the Burgers.
Well, the last 3 minutes have
not a lot of time would have gone off the clock.
No.
Because it's been over the boundary line
over
most
the boundary
of the time.
line, exactly.
Oh, yes, it's out on the full.
Oh.
Off the side of Mark Williams' boot.
Now, this is an important possession, this one.
A Robinson mark is what Springvale want from the McDonough kick. Here he comes. Oh. Not far off it. Potter hoping for a push in the back. The ruckman again will duel.
My word, that was so terribly close. The big claws of Robinson almost grasped that. I thought for a fleeting moment that the umpire was going to blow the whistle.
This is the longest quarter of the match. We played 31 minutes. There's Calendar. Langham. A lot of Coburg players calling for it. Corcomelis goes to the boundary line again.
Yeah, a bit of experience on that occasion by Corcomelis. Knowing exactly what to do in the crisis.
Dudley. Schmidt, the backman, was in the middle of that for Springvale. Back on the ground. Here's Nickel. Even in this 32-minute mark, he looks for a man. It is Schmidt. It has to be a goal. They've won it. Amazing. Paul Schmidt, the fullback, injured in the 3rd quarter. Looked like he wouldn't take any further part in the game. And surely he's won it for Springvale.
Well, truly remarkable, Peter. Have a look. He was led a merry dance by Williams at full forward, suffered a bad shoulder bad shoulder injury, I should say. Was off the ground for a quarter, came back on, and has he just showered himself in glory here.
There can only be seconds left now. It's Springvale who'll try and bottle it up. Here goes Potter. Coburg towards half forward. Jeffs will try and waste time, find the boundary line. Calendar has a chance. I think they've lost the button on the siren. I don't know if they've got the standby bell here at Port Melbourne, but why has the quarter gone so long?
I don't. Have a look at this, Peter. Oh, there's a pensive Malin issuing instructions. There it is.
Coburg's season is over, but Springvale, by the skin of their teeth, have won 3 in a row now, another 4, and they could still be a chance to play in the finals. An incredible victory, an improbable victory, given the last 20 minutes of the quarter, which Coburg managed to find something when Springvale looked like overrunning them. And Schmidt is the toast of Springvale. There he is. Well, I'm sure that shoulder injury won't be done any good by all these pats on the back, but he won't be too upset. They'll get Simon Clark there, who's in his civvies, the tall player, congratulating Dempster, back next week. Cooper will be back. They could conceivably win 4, and if Port or Dandenong or Sandy get the skids?
Oh, if they falter this, certainly they'll be worthy contenders too. They'll be worthy finalists.
Well, Ross Booth down in the middle of it.
Yes, well, our man of the match is Cameron Stewart, the halfback. A great effort for by the Vales. Hayden Toomey with the pewter.
Well done, Cameron.
Thanks
you brought
much.
warmth to the spectators. A great game from Wards Express. Congratulations, man of the match.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, forward turned defender, and he kicked a couple of goals there too.
Oh, I love a goal. Love a goal. No, it was a really great effort. Started off pretty bad, but we knew we could beat them. It's the hardest day I've had on a football field. It's unbelievable. It's so windy.
And you're still a rough chance, very rough, for making the finals now.
Well, let's hope a few sides drop a few games.
Okay. Well,
I'd just like to thank Wards and Mazda for the awards after the game.
thanks,
you.
Cameron. They're the keys to the Mazda, so well done.
Thanks very much.
And so Springvale live on with a little bit of hope, if only, I guess, Port Melbourne or Dandenong, whoever, fumble on the way.
Well, 12 goals to 3 from Springvale after quarter time. You remember Coburg kicked 8 goals in that first term, and they couldn't find the big opening after that.
No, Peter, but, you know, you look at Coburg's woes are the same, aren't they? Their forward line fell down badly after quarter time. And, of course, where they lost the plot really is their running players where Kaka, Langan, Korkamilis really control the midfield and around the centre bounce area.
Kaka 3 goals in the first term,
yeah,
on the bench all the last quarter.
But, you know, you always got to admire this side. They really are an illustration of persistence, of grit, of determination. They continually keep chipping away, chipping away. They've got a simple work ethic. That's what I like about Mayland. There's nothing extraordinary. There's no magic potion. There's no confusion. It's quite simple. You get the ball, you have numbers to the ball, you help each other, you drive the ball long to a leading target, and it's all work. Quite simple. And they worked at that ethic. And I guess if you persist, Peter, you've got to reap the rewards. And that's a classic example of, you know, what transpired here today in extremely difficult conditions. I don't want to sound as though I'm being harsh on Coburg, but they are entitled to be bitterly disappointed with the lead that they had. And they had 2 or 3 golden opportunities to bury them, but they didn't.
Yes, Sam, their season was summed up in today's game. A 53-point turnaround after quarter time, and